Welcome to online class on Transfer of Property Act. In this class, we will discuss the provision of Section 56 and 57. What Section 56 provides? Section 56 of the TP Act speaks about marshalling by subsequent procedure. What do you mean by marshalling? Marshalling is a term that is compelling by compulsion somebody is supposed to do something. So what is marshalling by a subsequent procedure? The principle is very simple. Suppose three properties are there. X is the owner of three properties, that is A, B, and C. He had mortgaged all those three properties. Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
yes, okay. There is some technical problem. What is the marshalling? Marshalling means compelling by a subsequent procedure. Suppose there are three properties. Properties A, B, C of X. X had previously mortgaged all those three properties to Y. Thereafter, X sold one of those properties, that is property B, to Z. If there is no contract to the contract at the time of sale, there is no condition that the subsequent purchaser cannot use his power of marshalling, cannot use his right of marshalling. So, in absence of such contract, then the subsequent purchaser will compel the other mortgagees to have their debt satisfied from the property which has not been sold to him. So this is a provision, simple provision. If the owner of two or more properties mortgages them to one person, there means a person is the owner of two or more property, he has mortgaged those two properties to another, and then sells one or more of the properties to another person. Then he sells one of those properties to another person. Then the subsequent buyer, he is the buyer. Then the buyer is, in the absence of a contract to the contrary, if there is no condition to the contrary of this provision, entitled to have the mortgage debt satisfied out of the property or property is not sold to him, so far as the same will extend, but not so as to prejudice the rights of the mortgagee or persons claiming under him or of any other person who has for consideration acquired an interest in any of the properties. What is this? But the subsequent condition. That is, that the subsequent purchaser will compel, that is as a right to ask the mortgagees to satisfy their mortgage money from the property which has not been sold to him. But that doesn't mean that if that property is not sufficient, then he cannot proceed against the property which has been sold to him. But not so as to prejudice the rights of the mortgage. If this principle is applied, in spite of in such case, the mortgagees are not in a position to satisfy their entire debt. Only in such case that the mortgagee can follow the property which has been sold to realize the remaining mortgage money if any due. This is the provision in Section 56. What it says? Marshalling. To whom it is available, to whom such a right is given. This right is given only to a purchaser, not any other person, even a transfer by a gift or without consideration. That is not available. Only there is a purchase by a subsequent two or more properties had been mortgaged previously. Two or more properties or five properties. Two or more properties. Or any one of such property or more than such. Two properties you are sold. Or one property was sold. If there are more than two properties, more than three properties, two properties were sold. So, or one property is sold. In such case, the buyer, the subsequent buyer, in absence of a contract to the contract, if there is no other contract, defeating the provisions, defeating the right of the subsequent purchaser, or taking away the right of the subsequent purchaser to exercise his option of mastery, then in such case, the subsequent buyer has a right to have the mortgage debt satisfied from the property which has not been sold to him. But that will not cause prejudice to the mortgagee or person claiming under him or of any other person who has for consideration acquired an interest in any of the properties. If any of the properties, suppose the other mortgage property is there, two mortgage properties, three mortgage properties are there. One mortgage property was sold. Then the subsequent buyer has a right to ask the mortgagee to have their mortgage debt satisfied from the other two properties. But out of one of such property had been sold without that for consideration. And if they are acquired consideration, another person has acquired interest, then that will not be allowed. So this is not sale, that is marshalling. This section enunciates the rule of marshalling, that is as applied sales, just as the marshalling principle is applicable in case of mortgage. That is in the provision in section, those provisions are in section 81 of the Transport. So the difference between the two sections is that under section 56, the purchaser entitled to benefit of the rule whenever he had or on notice of the charge, but under section 81, so then the subsequent mortgage has no right once he has notice of it. Whereas under section 81, the rules apply only when the second mortgagee has no notice of the first mortgage. We will discuss this principle of marshalling in section as provided in section 81 of the Transfer of Property Act while discussing the provisions regarding mortgage and relevant section. If you try to understand what is marshalling, suppose a question comes, what is marshalling? So in such case, you have to answer with this question referring the provisions in section 56 as well as section 81. But marshalling in case of mortgage, marshalling in case of sale. So what it says, so the meaning of this section may be made clear, that is as in the illustration or as discussed here. So now marshalling means what? Compelling. Who will compel? That is subsequent purchase. Here mortgage, a question may come to your mind that how a mortgage property can be sold. Yes, if a mortgage, there is no delivery or possession of a mortgage property, then that can be sold. So suppose in simple mortgage, there is a property that is under simple mortgage. Security has been given for payment of money, if that is, because it is a limited transfer. So in such case, there is by sale, there is an absolute transfer. If an absolute transfer takes place, that is value of sale, then two or three properties had been previously mortgaged, and one of such property was sold. That is, if this principle is applicable, section 56 is applicable only in case of sale, not in other cases, other types of transfer, absolute transfer. So in such case, the buyer has a right to ask the mortgagee, that mortgagee to get the satisfaction of his mortgage debt from the property which has not been sold to him, but this right will not was a prejudice to the mortgage. But that means suppose those mortgagees are unable to satisfy their debt from the other property which has not been sold, still if some remaining mortgage due is there, then the property which has been sold, that can be followed for realization of the remaining mortgage dues. This is the provision in section 56. That is marshalling in case of sale. Now, section 57, it is a peculiar section. What it provides? Provision by court for encumbrances and sale free thereof. Section 57 gives a discretion to the court to declare that a particular piece of immovable property is free from encumbrances. Only on the application either of a vendor or of the vendor. So in such case, if the court is satisfied that a particular property which has been encumbrance, that encumbrance can be discharged, can be complied, or can be that can be discharged, or that by taking some security or by taking some money from the vendor or from the vendee, then the court may declare that the particular immovable property is free from encumbrance. Now, go to the language of this section. It's a very big section that where immovable property is subject to the encumbrance. What is encumbrance? Encumbrance is burden. There is some burden on that property. For an example, there is a charge or there is some amount is to be paid to somebody out of the income of that property or from that property. Where immovable property subject to any encumbrance. So much income is also mortgage is there, that is also encumbrance. Where immovable property is subject to any encumbrance, whether immediately payable or not, whether that encumbrance is not immediately payable or not in future, is sold. Is sold by whom? By the court or in execution of it. Immovable property, there is an encumbrance on that immovable. But that encumbrance is payable either in future or immediately. And that immovable property is sold either by the court. How when the court sells? Court sells the immovable property for in an execution proceeding. In execution proceeding, satisfy this monetary claim of somebody. When the court sells the immovable property to somebody, or in execution of decree, that property, that immovable property is sold, or out of court. Suppose out of court means there is the other two persons, they made a contract and that of sale, and thereby this sale took place. So when there is an immovable property and that immovable property is encumbrance, there is an encumbrance. If there is some burden, there is some charge, there is some liability on that income, that immovable property, and that property is sold either by the court or in execution of a decree. While executing a decree, that was sold, or out of court, even outside court, by the negotiation between the vendor and another person who is called the vendee. Then if court thinks fit, on the application of any party to the sale, that on application of any party to the sale, that means either the vendor or the vendee, direct or allow payment into court. So it's always court cannot exercise this power to declare a particular immovable property free from encumbrance on its own motion or so moto. There must be an application by whom? Either of the vendor or by the vendee. So the court, what type of application is given? There the vendor may give an application, praying the court that I have sold I want to sold. I say, or I have already sold this a particular piece of land. That piece of land, there is an encumbrance that for payment of a particular debt or particular maintenance amount or particular money to somebody. Now I am prepared to deposit the money sufficient to satisfy that encumbrance. Let it be declared that the property I have sold, that is free from encumbrance. Similar prayer may be made by the vendee, making an application before the court. What? That this piece of land I have purchased and there is an encumbrance on that land, and I am ready to deposit the required money or to give security or to discharge that encumbrance. Let the court should declare that this piece of land is free from encumbrance. So, as you know, on the application of either party, the court direct or allow payment. What type of direction will be given by the court? But in case of an annual or monthly sum charged on the property, there may be an income tax on a remote property for payment of annual or annuity or monthly payment. Monthly payment may be, suppose there is a maintenance or monthly payment. Charge on how a charge is created. So charge can be created under Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act when there is an order for getting maintenance by a wife. Wife may file an application and there may be a charge on the property of the person who is liable to give maintenance and he misses. So the court may direct or allow payment or in case of annual or monthly sum charge on the property or of a capital sum charge on the determinable interest in the property. Suppose actually how much amount is due, that is determinable. Then the court considers of that determined property of such amount as when invested in securities of the central government, the court considers will be sufficient by means of the interest thereof to keep down or otherwise provide for their charge. How much amount? So court considers if this much of amount is deposited in any under invested in any say this bank or under the securities of the central government, then the interest which will accrue from that amount, that will be sufficient to meet the payment of annual charge or monthly. So this is in case when the property is encumbered for payment of any money, either monthly or annually, or any determinable money that is to be paid. In such case, the court may direct either to the vendor or to the vendee who has made the application to pay a certain amount, to pay the required amount which is sufficient or that will be deposited in court, which will be invested in any central government securities or central government scheme. So here, if that interest which will accrue, that will satisfy the encumbrance. That is the monthly payment or annual payment or any money which is determined. And in any other case of a capital, some charge on the property when the encumbrance is not regarding this, not for payment of monthly money, monthly allowance or annual payment or with a determinate or a fixed money. So in such case, and in any other case means other than this, in any other case of capital sum charged on the property of the amount sufficient to meet the encumbrance and any interest due thereon. Suppose there is a mortgagee. Mortgagee is like entitled to get some money. So in such case, the court may direct to deposit the required mortgage money, including interest, to declare that particular immovable property is free from encumbrance. What is section 57? On application of a vendor or the vendee, the court, after sale of a property which is encumbered, there is encumbered for payment of some money, either as monthly allowance or annual allowance or annual payment or even for mortgage, court may direct sufficient money be deposited. The money which is sufficient to meet the required encumbrance be deposited for investment under any central government securities, so that the interest which will accrue from that money, that will discharge the encumbrance. But in either case, there shall also be paid into court such additional amount as the court considers. Apart from that, in either case, in case of monthly maintenance, monthly charge or annual payment or a fixed amount, or in case of other payment, in either case, there shall also be paid into court such additional amount as the court considers will be sufficient to meet the contingency of further cost. The court may, in addition to above, the court may also direct for deposit of further amount which will meet any cost or expenses in future and interest and any other contingency except depreciation of investment, not exceeding 1/10 part of the original amount to be paid in. Apart from that, further 1/10, not exceeding 1/10 of the original amount that is to be paid. The court may also direct, in addition to the above amount as stated earlier, further amount not exceeding 10% of that amount be paid by that vendor or the vendee who has made an application to meet the future contingency regarding what is that cost, expenses regarding that is along with that amount. Only the court for special region with its shall record think fit to require a larger additional amount. Though 10%, not exceeding 10%, the court cannot direct. But in certain case, if the court considers that more money in addition to above this money is required, then with giving some region, the court can also direct, exceeding 10% of the original money as ordered to be deposited along with that money to meet the expense of, to meet the charge of enrollment. So if that amount is deposited, thereupon the court may, if it thinks fit, and after notice to the income ransom, first money is deposited. Thereafter, notice will be given to the income ransom, unless the court for region to be recorded in writing thinks fit to dispense with such service. So though a provision is there that after deposit of the required money, the court has a discretion either to give notice to the income ransom or without giving notice, may declare it free from income. But it is the rule that in every case, notice must be given to the income ransom because natural justice demands. In India, this is also followed, case laws are there. So thereupon the court may, if it thinks fit, and after notice to the income ransom, unless the court for region to be recorded in writing thinks fit to dispense with such notice, declare the property. In every case, notice must be given. Declare the property to be freed from the income ransom and make any order for conveyance or listing order proper for giving effect to the sale. The court may also pass order that now the property money is deposited as ordered by the court in addition to above order, not even to meet the future contingency, some more amount is also deposited. Then upon receipt upon deposit of that amount in court, then the court will give notice to the income ransom and on hearing it, declare that the property which has been sold that or which is to be sold, that is free from income tax. And generally may give direction respecting the application or distribution of the capital. Similarly, the court has power to, if more than one persons are entitled for certain amount as income tax from the property which has been sold, the court may direct as to how much money will be paid to whom or which of the claimants in case of income tax. An appeal shall lie from any declaration, order, or direction under this section as if this same were a decree. So we should understand when court passes an order directing the vendor or the vendee to deposit the money on his application to declare a particular property, particularly more property free from income tax. If anybody is aggrieved by that order, he has a right to prefer appeal against that order, and that order will be treated as if a decree has been passed. Then where the appeal lies to the court ordinary to which the appeal lies against the decree of the court, decree of that court. In this section, court makes high court in the exercise of an ordinary or extraordinary original civil jurisdiction. This court here again there is a separate definition to the court. Here court means high court. High court can also declare by exercising original jurisdiction, extraordinary jurisdiction. In this section, second, the court of a discharge within the local limits of which the property is situated or jurisdiction, or any part thereof, any part of the property is also situated, that discharge can declare. Third, any other court with the state government may from time to time, by notification of the official gazette, declare to be the competent to exercise the jurisdiction conferred by this section. So, any other court, and High Court has power is the extraordinary and original jurisdiction. Similarly, third, the discharge under whose local jurisdiction the property is situated, and discharge can declare that property free from encumbrance which has been sold, or any other court. If the state government notifies any other court which is competent to declare such, make such declaration, or that a particular property which has been sold is free from encumbrance on deposit of the required money to satisfy the encumbrance, then South Court can do so. Now, let us discuss the provision regarding mortgage. It is a very important section in the transfer of property. What is mortgage? Mortgage is always, when you use the term mortgage, that is always a mortgage in respect of movable property, never of movable property. In loose term, sometimes we say some mortgage is there, a gold mortgage. But gold is, the mortgage is not for gold, because gold is a movable property. That will be treated as place. Place as defined, when movable property is given as security for payment of money, there is a contract of bailment. What is contract of bailment? Contract of bailment is that when goods is or any goods is delivered to another with a condition that that goods will be again redelivered to that person after a purchase, after a purpose is over, or a particular purpose is over, then that is called a contract of bailment. Suppose somebody took my car for 1 day there, and with the condition that after 1 day he will return that car. This is a contract of bailment. So contract of bailment and place. So in every place there is a contract of bailment. When there is a contract of bailment or contract of bailment is made as a security for payment of money, payment of debt, that is called place. There are panor and pani. The person, the bailor and bailee is not called, it's called panor and pani. The person who gives the goods in security for payment of money is called panor. The person to whom the goods is given, that is in security, that is called what? Pani. So now, but never use the term mortgage for giving, for in respect of movable property, in respect of any goods which is given as security. As a lawyer, as a law student, you should understand, keep in mind that there cannot be a mortgage for movable property. That is a contract of place. So here section 58 says, what is mortgage? What is mortgage? Who is a mortgager? Who is a mortgagee? What is mortgage money? And mortgage deed. This section 58 defines. What it defines? A mortgage is the transfer of an interest. Again and again I give an interest, a single interest. There is no absolute transfer. It is a limited transfer. Mortgage is transfer of an interest in specific immovable property. The immovable property must be specified. On which immovable property the mortgagor is transferring his one interest, an interest. Mortgage is a transfer of an interest in a specified immovable property. But for the purpose of securing the payment of money, only as a security, for the purpose of securing payment, there is a security for payment of money. So mortgage is a transfer of an interest in a specific immovable property for the purpose of securing the payment of money. What? That is advanced or to be advanced by a flow. Money which has been advanced, that is already money that is advanced or to be advanced by way of loan. So what is mortgage? Is a transfer of an interest on specific immovable property. You should remember, you are an interest, immovable property. That immovable property must be specified. What for? As For securing payment, that will work as a security. For securing payment, what type of securing payment? Of money advanced, already advanced, or to be advanced. In future, money will be advanced. What type? That money is advanced. What for? By way of loan. An existing or future debt. Already there is an existing debt. For that, somebody may create a mortgage. Or for existing or future, you take a debt. Or the performance of engagement, which may give rise to a pecuniary liability. Pecuniary means monetary liability. Or performance of an engagement of which give rise to a pecuniary liability. Though the terms mortgage is not mentioned. If an immutable property on an interest in an immutable property is transferred as security for payment of an engagement, for payment of a contract, for performance of a contract, for to do some engagement, which gives rise to a pecuniary liability, then that will be treated as mortgage. You must understand the definition of mortgage. Once you understand the definition of mortgage, then it will be easier for you to understand the other provisions. What is mortgage? Mortgage is transfer of an interest on specific immutable property. What for? For the purpose of securing. What type of securing? Securing the payment of money advanced or to be advanced by way of loan, or securing the payment of existing debt, or securing the payment of any future debt, or securing the performance of an engagement which will give rise to pecuniary liability. So this is mortgage. Mortgage, only on interest is transferred. What type on interest of the immutable property must be specified. For the purpose is that is securing the payment. That is given as security for payment of loan. Money advance by way of loan. Loan is also there. For payment of money advance by way of loan, existing debt or future debt, or giving that interest is transferred for as a security for performance of engagement, which will give any pecuniary liability to the person who transfers. That is called mortgage. Now, the transaction is called a mortgage. The transferor is called a mortgagor. So here, the person who transfers an interest in that specific loan is called mortgagor. The transferee, a mortgagee. The transferee is called mortgagee. The principal money and interest of which payment is secure for the time being are called the mortgage money. At the time of creation of the mortgage, the principal money and the interest which is secure, that is called mortgage money. And the instrument, if any, by which the transfer is effected is called a mortgage deed. That the document through which the mortgage is, the transfer is made, that is, or that the transfer is effected, that is called a mortgage deed. I am sure that you are aware what is the definition of mortgage. Now, let us discuss simple mortgage. What is simple mortgage? The mortgage is simple. There is no complication here. What is that simple mortgage? That complying the definition. What is that? Somebody transfers of interest in specific immutable property and personally undertakes to pay the mortgage money by a particular date with a condition that in the event of his failure, the mortgage property will be put to sale by the mortgagee for realization of the mortgage money. That is called simple mortgage. What is that? There is no transfer of possession. Nothing. So where without delivering possession of the mortgage property, my mortgage property, the property mortgage is with the mortgage. So in most of the cases, in bank, mortgages are simple mortgages. That when somebody mortgages immovable property in bank and takes loan, and in such case transfer, the possession is not transferred. Almost most of the cases in mortgage in bank, there is either simple mortgage or mortgage by deposit of time periods. What it says, where without delivering possession of the mortgage property, the possession of the mortgage property is not delivered, the mortgagor binds himself personally to pay the mortgage money. The mortgagor binds himself that he will pay the mortgage money and agrees either expressly or implied. There must be an agreement. The mortgagor must agree either expressly in clear terms or impliedly. What is that? That in the event of his failing to pay the mortgage money according to his contract. That in the event of his failing to pay the mortgage money according to his contract. What is contract? The contract of mortgage will speak by which date and what will be the rate of interest. That is according to the contract. Then the mortgagee shall have a right. The mortgagee shall have a right to cause the mortgage property to be sold. The mortgagee shall have a right to cause the mortgage property to be sold. Not only, and the proceeds of sale to be applied so far as may be necessary in payment of the mortgage money. Mortgage money means the capital and also the interest. And the sale proceeds will be applied for payment of the mortgage money. The transaction is called a simple mortgage. And the mortgagee a simple mortgagee. So you understood? What is that simple mortgage? The possession of the mortgage property is not it. The mortgagor, that means who transfers an interest in that property, in specific immovable property, as security for payment of debt. Mortgagor personally binds himself. What personally? That he will pay the mortgage money. Personally binds that I will pay the mortgage money along with that is capital or interest, and agrees, and simultaneously also agrees either expressly or implied, and that in the event of his failure or in the event of his failure to pay the mortgage money, then the mortgagee shall have a right to put the mortgage property to sale and apply the sale proceeds for payment of the mortgage money, that is principal and interest. This transaction is called simple mortgage, and the mortgagor is called simple mortgagor. That is simple mortgage, and the mortgagor is not there, but mortgage is called simple mortgage. Then secondly, that is mortgage by conditional sale. So the word sale has been used here. Never confuse this definition of sale with the definition of mortgage. When the very word mortgage by conditional sale means it is a mortgage. There is no transfer of ownership here. Only an interest is transferred in respect of a specific immovable property to secure the payment of a debt. What it provides, where the mortgagor ostensibly sells the mortgage property. Ostensibly means apparent. Ostensibly, previously ostensibly owner we have discussed. Though word sale is used here, but that is never to be understood as sale, as defined in section 54 of the transfer. When the mortgagor, the mortgagee, these words are used. When the mortgagor ostensibly sells the mortgage property on condition, there are three conditions. On condition that on default of payment of the mortgage money on a certain date, the sale shall become absolute. First condition. That on his default, to pay the mortgage money on a particular date, by a particular date. The sale shall become absolute. Those sales shall become absolute, that is not a sale as defined in section 50. The sale shall become absolute. Or unconditional, that on such payment being made, the sale shall become void. Or unconditional, that on such payment being made, the buyer, no buyer word is here, that is to be construed as mortgagee. The buyer shall transfer the property to the seller. Seller here is to be treated as mortgagor. The buyer, that means the mortgagee, shall transfer the property to the mortgagor. The transaction is called a mortgage by conditional sale. And the mortgagee, a mortgagee by conditional sale. Mortgagor, so far as mortgagor, it is not defined. So mortgagee is called mortgagee by conditional. What is that? When what is that? Where the mortgagor? The word mortgagor used in section always it is to be treated as a mortgage. When the mortgagor ostensibly sells the mortgage property and unconditional, that in the event on his default of payment, here personal undertaking is not there. That in the event of his payment of the mortgage money on a certain date, like simple mortgage, it doesn't take personal undertakes to pay the mortgage money. Only ostensibly sell the mortgage property. Unconditional, that in the event of his failure to pay the mortgage money within a particular date, the mortgage shall be, this sale shall become absolute. So here, absolute doesn't mean like I said. Again, interpretation of the court is required. Or unconditional, that on the payment of mortgage money by the stipulated date, the sale shall become void. Or on condition that on payment of the mortgage money or on such payment, the seller, the buyer means the mortgagee shall retransfer the mortgage property to the seller, that is to the mortgagor. Such a transaction is called mortgage by conditional sale. And the mortgagee is to be called as mortgagee by conditional sale. Provided that no such transaction shall be deemed to a mortgage unless the condition is embodied in the document which affects or purports to affect the sale. So it must be clearly provided that no such transaction shall be deemed to be mortgage. If such a transaction is there, that will not be deemed to be a mortgage. Only the condition is embodied in the document which affects or purports to affect the sale. Unless there is specific condition that regarding that it is not a sale. There is a specific provision that provided that no such transaction shall be deemed to be a mortgage, only the condition is embodied in the document which affect or purport to affect the sale. Which affect or purport to affect the sale means this mortgage. That these conditions must be mentioned in the document itself. Simply sale, absolute sale, that will not become mortgage. So there must be this condition that on the payment of such money, the mortgage will become void, or on the payment, non-payment, that the mortgage will become absolute. This condition must be there in that document. Or on payment, the mortgagee or the buyer shall retransfer it. In such conditions, these conditions must be mentioned in the document so that it will be treated as a mortgage. Now, usufructuary mortgage. What is usufruct? Usufruct generally means the profit derived from some property. Usufruct. In case of land, the crop is the profit. In case of house, the house rent. Is that the profit? What is usufructuary mortgage? You should understand. In case of usufructuary mortgage, always possession is delivered to the mortgage. Or the mortgagor binds or undertakes that you deliver the possession of the mortgage property to the particular date. What is the condition? That the mortgagee will retain the mortgage property till the mortgage money is paid. And on payment of the mortgage money, the mortgage will be discharged. This is usufructuary. But you go through the language, what it says, where the mortgagor delivers possession, immediate possession is delivered, or expressly or by implication binds himself to deliver possession of the mortgage property, and impliedly undertakes to deliver possession to the mortgagee, and he authorizes him to retain such possession, and authorizes that the mortgagee will retain such possession until payment of the mortgage money. Till payment of the mortgage money, the mortgagee will retain possession of the mortgage property. And to receive the rent and profits, and the mortgagee will receive the rent and profits accruing from the mortgage property, or any part of such rent and profits, and to appropriate the same in lieu, but in lieu of interest, or in payment of the mortgage money, or partly in lieu of interest, or partly in payment of the mortgage money, then the transaction is called a usufructuary mortgage, and the mortgagee a usufructuary mortgagee. But in such case, in case of usufructuary mortgage, the mortgagor delivers possession of the mortgage property to the mortgage, or undertakes, or what is unnecessary implication, agrees to deliver possession of the mortgage property to the mortgagee, and not only deliver, and also authorizes. Authority is given to the mortgagee that what type of authority? That you will retain the mortgage possession of the mortgage property till payment of the mortgage money. Mortgage money, that is here, and to take the usufruct or the profits, either fully or part of that profit, and to utilize the same, or payment towards the interest, or payment towards interest, or partly to the payment a principal. In such case, then the transaction is called a usufruct mortgage, and the mortgagee a usufruct mortgage. In this context, in the state of Odisha, there is a rule, Odisha Money Lenders Act. There is a provision that once a person who is a mortgagee under usufructuary mortgage and he retains possession of the mortgage property for 7 years, then it is deemed that the mortgage has been discharged. Then the mortgage is not liable to pay any amount, further any amount, even towards principal or interest, when the mortgagee is in possession of the mortgage property for a period of 7 years. So this is usufructuary mortgage. Now, English mortgage, sometimes there is a confusion between in the definition. You are confused. What is English mortgage and what is mortgage by conditional sale? There are the conditions, some conditions are similar. What it says, where the mortgagor binds himself to repay the mortgage money, mortgage money. So when you think of English mortgage, you think of simple mortgage. In simple mortgage, the mortgagor without delivering possession binds himself personally to pay the mortgage money. So similarly here, where the mortgagor binds himself to repay the mortgage money on a certain date and transfer the mortgage property absolutely to the mortgagee. So absolutely is there, not like ownership is transferred. Mortgagor personally binds himself to pay the mortgage money and absolutely transfer the mortgage property to the mortgagee, but subject to a provision. What is the provision? That he will retransfer it to the mortgagor on payment of the mortgage money as agreed. The transaction is called an English mortgage. Mark the difference between English mortgage, what is English mortgage, and what is mortgage by conditional sale. In case of mortgage by conditional sale, the mortgagor does not personally undertakes to pay the mortgage money, binds himself to pay the mortgage. What did they say? He ostensibly sells the mortgage property to the mortgagee with a condition that if you will not pay the mortgage money by a particular time as agreed upon, the sale shall become absolute. Or if you will pay the mortgage money, the sale shall become void. Or If you pay the mortgage money, the seller, that is, that the buyer, that is the mortgagee, will retransfer the mortgage property to the mortgagor. That is mortgage by conditional sale. But in English mortgage, what it says? The mortgagor personally binds himself to pay the mortgage money and absolutely sells the mortgage property to the mortgagee with condition that on payment of the mortgage money, the mortgagee will retransfer the mortgage property to him. This transaction is called English mortgage. Three things: only undertakes to pay the mortgage money, absolute sell the mortgage property, and there is a condition that on payment of the mortgage money, the mortgagee will retransfer the mortgage property to him, to the mortgagor. Such a transaction is called English mortgage. Now, mortgage by deposit of title deeds. This nomenclature itself shows the title deeds have to be deposited as mortgage for creating security for payment of money. What is that? Where a person in any of the following towns, that is, namely the Calcutta, Madras, Bombay, and in any other town with the state government concerned may by notification the official gazette specify. Now the state of Odisha has declared in most of the towns in the state, this mortgage of the by deposit of title deeds can be created. Where a person in any of these, initially when this section was there, that is for the commercial transactions, such a mortgage is that is prevailing. Where in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras, or such of the big towns, which are declared by the state government, that their mortgage by deposit of titles can be made. Specify this. Delivers to a creditor. Here mortgagee is not, word mortgagee is not used. Where in the such of the towns, Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, or such of the towns are to be notified by the central government or state government, then a person delivers to his creditor or his agent, either to the creditor. Creditor means includes many things. It's a mortgagee, a person may be a mortgagee who is advancing money or who is giving or who is selling goods on credit, delivers to his creditor or his agent, either to the creditor or his agent, documents of title to immovable property. What type of documents? Documents of title to immovable property, like record of right, like sale deed, rent receipt, document of title of immovable property, with intent to create a security there. Simply, we can intention to create a security therein. The transaction is called a mortgage by deposit of title deeds. When a person, mortgagor term is not here used. When a person in the towns like Calcutta, Bombay, or Madras, or in such of the town which will be notified by the state government in future, there in such towns a person can deposit the title deeds of his immovable property to create a mortgage by conditional sale. In such town, that person delivers to his creditor. No personal undertaking, nothing. Delivers to his creditor. What is creditor? The title of his immovable property. There must be an intention. What is that intention? To create a security thereon that deliver the title to such immovable property is delivered. Title deeds are delivered to his creditor or to the agent of his creditor. That as a security for payment of money. Create a security there. Security is created what for? For payment of the money, or the money which is given or which is entitled from that person. So the transaction is called a mortgage by deposit of titles. Anomalous mortgage, a mortgage which is not a simple mortgage, not a mortgage by conditional sale, or a usufructuary mortgage, an English mortgage, or a mortgage by deposit of title deeds. Within the meaning of this section, within the meaning of this section means within the definition of section 58, that is called as an anomalous mortgage. In other words, a mortgage which is not a simple mortgage, not a mortgage by conditional sale, not a usurpated mortgage, not a English mortgage, not a mortgage by deposit of license, then that mortgage is called anomalous mortgage. Now, I think by now you have understood what is mortgage and how many types of mortgage.